You come and you lay down, this is what I need. And you see, and then you measure it against your own time.
All right, the mics are on, just be aware of that.
Okay, let me put mine up.
If you're willing to discuss the offense under investigation or without a lawyer present, you have the right to stop questioning at any time or speak to an attorney before answering any other questions. Do you understand that? Put your initials there.
Can you tell us about what happened last night?
Whoa. Yeah, I mean, I went to that church in Charleston, and I did it.
Do you know how many people you shot?
If I was gonna guess, five, maybe. I'm really not sure. I had to do it because somebody had to do something. Because, black people are killing white people every day on the streets. And they rape white women, 100 white women a day. That's an FBI statistic from 2005. That's 10 years ago. It might even be more now, who knows. It sounds unrealistic, but you break it down, that's 2 a state. It's really not unrealistic at all.
Would you consider yourself a white supremacist? I know sometimes that's hard, but
No,
the white people are superior.
I'm a white nationalist.
A white nationalist.
A white supremacist.
Okay.
What's your definition of the two then? Because you're saying you're not a white supremacist, you're a white nationalist. What's in your mind? What's the
Never mind.
difference?
How about this? I do consider myself a white supremacist, sure. White people are superior. That's what you mean.
If I told you 9 people died last night, how would that make you feel?
I wouldn't believe you.
It was 9.
There wasn't even 9 people there.
It was just a little bit over 9.
Are you guys lying to me?
No, we're not.
How do you feel?
In all honesty.
Well, it makes me feel bad.
Are you guilty of this? Would you consider this a crime? Yes. And you're guilty. We're saying it?
I am guilty. We all know I'm guilty.
Only hours after mass murder defendant Dylan Roof walked into this historic black church in Charleston, as seen in this surveillance video, he sat with detectives in Shelby, North Carolina, and explained why he committed a crime that left 9 people dead and shocked the nation.
I went to that church in Charleston, and I did it.
The 2-hour confession, recorded on video, has been introduced as evidence in the death penalty case. It's washed out, but it shows Roof laughing repeatedly as he spelled out what he did inside the church during a Bible study session.
What kind of gun did you use?
A Glock 45.
Okay.
He said he picked the church because there likely wouldn't be any whites inside, and the victims were more likely to be meek. He told investigators he thought about shooting drug dealers, but he said he worried they might shoot back. Roof's attorneys aren't disputing he carried out the attack, but are focused on persuading the jury to spare his life during the penalty phase of the trial.
Welcome to the Gilchirst experience. What you just witnessed is white supremacists or white nationalists, and these kind of people are being defended by our president today. What say ye, good folks? Brother Leroy, Brother Julius? I gave you a little eye-opener. Now this man, this little boy, he was 21 at the time, thought that 100 100 white women being raped every day by black men, brainwashed by the Confederate flag. We have other views of his racism, but we have his best friend, a little black kid he hung out with, had no idea he was a racist. These people are in the closet, and due to Donald Trump, they're coming out in groves. Now we have grown men threatening us as white nationalists, and Donald Trump is defending him. This happened, what, 2 years ago? Now we have a racist Klansman as a president. Comments, gentlemen?
Well, you know, you see it in the courts. Many of the judges, you know, based on their decisions, you know, it's blatant. Like a lot of times, you know, they'll decide a case and the rationale is very absurd. So we've been witnessing it a lot in New York City with courts, housing court. You know, it just seems like certain people, they're just hell-bent on not giving certain people justice. And so you have people like this all over the nation.
Well, what about these lies that are being generated? 100 white women being raped every day. This is what this kid believed. He just stated that.
He believed it based on
Lies.
what?
Lies has been told by racists, white nationalists.
So here's a guy who's 20, 21,
When it happened.
all right? And one of his comments was that someone had to do it. Someone had to
right.
do it.
Somebody coached him into it.
Okay, so the questions that we saw them ask, the questions that I ask is, if I'm sitting down with this guy, then I'm saying, tell me about your friends. Tell me about the guys who
Right.
taught you about this. Tell me
Right.
how they tell me about, I would ask that kind of question.
Right.
Because their thing is to protect others who are involved in the same kind of activity. Whenever there is a so-called terrorist arrested, they go into the guy's home or the woman's home, they come out all kinds of material. They would say, they used to have a phrase for the kind of materials, just a general statement. So their aim, I'm talking about when it's black people that they arrest for something that they would say is terrorist. They appear that the intent is to involve or to entrap as many black folks as possible in an arrest. In these situations, it's always limited to that one person. The guy down in Charlottesville, one person, meaning you don't hear much about who his affiliations are with, what kind of literature the guy had in his home, what kind of whatever websites the guy went to. Yeah, there are people undercover. I would say black people undercover in terms of when we venture into a world that is white supremacist and against us at work, etc. And when I say undercover, we have a smile on our face even though we know or have experienced an injustice against us at that particular work site. And we keep on going with a smile. But you're talking about a sinister undercover.
Yeah.
Where it's deadly, and on the other side is black people who are naive, who have bought into MTV, BET, and other cable shows that show us and others living very comfortably in friendships, etc. And our children are not politicized, and neither are adults willing to be politicized into the situation in America. There's a brother named Neely Fuller in Washington. He's associate of Sister Dr. Frances Cress Welsing. He doesn't call it white supremacy, he calls it the system of white supremacy, the system of white supremacy. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad says that they are in opposition to black people by nature. That's even a more precise.
Well, that's white supremacy right there. By nature.
By nature.
By nature.
So people are operating on automatic.
Well, don't we really believe that most white people are white supremacists? They do actually believe that they're superior to black people. or superior to most people.
They demonstrate that for sure.
Yeah,
You know,
well, that's normal.
they,
That's normal for white people.
it's
isn't it?
normal for them to think that, you know,
They're
they
superior.
have, right, that
But
they,
why is this young kid being brainwashed that 100 white women being raped every day?
I think when I was watching that, I think he was trying to construct a defense,
Okay.
you know, for himself. So that could have been fabricated, because if he
Okay.
presents that he really believed
Right.
that
He's
his
defending
white
his
race,
race.
yes, exactly,
defending his race.
he might
Or
get
somebody might have brainwashed him into believing that.
right. So
at
this is, I
21.
think this is a, he was trying to construct a defense.
I'd heard a story about him that a black kid had taken his girlfriend away from him or something.
Well, that's happening.
I mean, you know.
That's happening 80 years ago, you understand? But you get strung up on a tree or
Yeah,
just disappear. And
But
someone
I
will
have this
find
other
you.
video where he has a black friend. The black friend, I won't play it, but the black friend explains that he had no idea this kid was racist.
You remember Volpe,
Volpe?
the guy that sodomized?
Right, the police officer.
Oh yeah,
yes.
yeah. He had a black girlfriend, right? Right.
So,
But that was a gay thing on Volpe's part. It wasn't a racist thing.
whatever
You think
happened.
so? Sometimes
I think he just hated gays,
you just find people that,
and he thought Volpe was gay. I mean,
we've had this, you know, in our history where if you demasculate a black man, you know, you're just showing power over him.
right.
So, and that's even been in our culture too, like even, you know, among black men. If I could just humiliate you and,
Well, that's why we fight amongst each other.
no,
so
but
much.
we know growing up, I mean, I don't want to like say certain things, but if I was mad at you or whatever, I could say, mother, suck, you know, and if I was able to have you do that, you know, I'm really showing that I'm, you know, the king of the block, or I'm a bad MFer.
And back in the day, the worst thing you could do is call me a faggot, because
Right. So,
we had to fight, or say something about my mama.
right.
But
also, it's
all that. Well, we know how to humiliate. This is a long-standing thing in our race of
I think
humiliating
it's
each
in
other.
the human
We're
race,
good
I
at
kinda think
humiliating each
so.
other. We're great at that.
Right.
And that's why we fight amongst each other so much. We're always chumping each other off. This is our problem.
That's one of the
Yeah.
manifestations of a problem.
Yeah.
The put down that we experience is the result of what social scientists call social engineering. So you set up a situation for rats to fight one another in a cage, and the person comes in and say, wow, all those rats do is fight. But if you change the circumstances in that cage,
Right.
then they'll be sharing food.
Willie Lynch? The Willie Lynch?
You can call it Willie Lynch. It's all aspects of that, and that is an area. See, we've had social scientists, black social scientists, explain to us exactly what is happening and what is likely to happen given our circumstances, but either we haven't listened to them. Amos Wilson is one brother. People don't know about him.
Yes.
France Fanon
Okay.
is another one.
Joy Degree, Dr. Joy Degree.
Joy. These are people who, and the other sister, you know, the new Jim Crow, and there are a lot of us, but we either we're not, as social scientists, we're not talking to our people, we're talking to other audiences,
Right.
when our real job is to come in and explain to black people, this is what you see, the aberrations, the low-life conditions, and the mindset of black people as it relates to having been conditioned a certain way. This thing about Trump can be off the scene tomorrow, but we'll be dealing with the same situation.
The aftermath.
Obama was in office for 8 years, and the amount of threats on his life just because he was a black man in the White House,
Right.
is untold. You hear allusions, people are alluding to it here and there, but we don't hear the full fury that was demonstrated during the time that he was in office. Now, in speaking with a not a social scientist, but a psychologist, as it relates to the topic today, he said the issue is the loss of white privilege.
Right.
And this has been going on for quite some time with the loss of jobs in America. And he said that there's the underlying reason is globalization that we hear. He said, but the other one is automation.
Right.
He said
exactly.
automation. He said now.
There's a real problem.
He said there are companies where they knew they would have to go into a higher tech
Right.
realm,
Auto industry.
and they brought in trainers to upgrade the population, the white workforce, primarily white workforce. He said they would bail out of the training. They couldn't go far in the training. This is what you find when you talk to people in that industry, industrial psychology. They couldn't fulfill the training, the workers, because what they found is that the education level of American workers was at the 6th grade level, and that is not enough for the more
high tech.
computer technology that's coming in. Now, they're out of work, or the kind of jobs that they've had to have the kind of life that we see on TV, you know, the 3 or 4 cars and that sort of thing. And then they see us, they see us in media in executive position. I'm talking about in media. I'm not talking about in real life. They see us in
And media, you know,
entertainment,
like, yeah.
in a
Basketball,
movie
football.
picture, in
Or
a
movies,
sitcoms,
whatever, that our
and that sort of
lifestyle
thing.
is good.
Right, and they see us in the sports arena,
And then we get a black president. What
and then
happened?
you get a black president on top of that.
We're raping
Now,
100 women a day. I mean, come on.
if that were the case, brother, we would be locked away in some place for our
I
own
would
safety.
think.
But
All right, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to give you a treat to bring you up to date of the new white nationalists. This guy, Cartwell.
yeah,
He's quite a character. So we run the first Charlottesville piece, not number 2, but number 1. And hear what he has to say about President Trump's daughter. He hates Jews, you know, like all Nazis. All right? Sound.
got mace, man. We need first aid!
You got mace?
Yeah.
By who?
By Connie.
Trying to figure out what's going on now. It's too late, bro. Y'all just be ready for tomorrow. Y'all couldn't help a couple people that was out here tonight. Just be ready tomorrow at least.
Who drove how long to get here?
12 hours from our car. We've been driving from north of the border, so.
Oh, you came down from Canadistan. If I was doing the radical agenda in Canada, I'd probably be arrested for it, right?
Yeah, well, in Canada, hurting people's feelings is basically illegal. I mean, it's not really criminal, but you
unless they're white males.
So when did you get into, as you said, the racial stuff?
When the Trayvon Martin case happened, you know, Michael Brown and Tamir Rice and all these different things happen, every single case, it's some little black asshole behaving like a savage, and he gets himself in trouble, shockingly enough. Whatever problems I might have with my fellow white people, they generally are not inclined to such behavior, and you know, you gotta kind of take that into consideration when you're thinking about how to organize your society.
In Oklahoma City.
Okay, so exactly, you have to go back to Oklahoma City to talk about a white act of terrorism,
Elliot Rodger,
right?
Dylan Roof.
Okay, so now you've managed to name 3 people, and I'm pretty sure Elliot Rodger wasn't explicitly white, by the way. But the thing is, you remember the names of white bombers and mass shooters, okay? Yeah. Can you tell me the name of all 19 hijackers on 9/11 off the top of your head? You can remember Dylan Roof's name. You can remember Tim McVeigh's
white
name.
People were capable of violence.
I didn't say capable. Of course we're capable. I'm carrying a pistol. I go to the gym all the time. I'm trying to make myself more capable of violence. I'm here to spread ideas, talk, in the hopes that somebody more capable will come along and do that. Somebody like Donald Trump, who does not give his daughter to a Jew.
So Donald Trump, but like more racist.
A lot more racist than Donald Trump. I don't think that you could feel about race the way I do and watch that Kushner bastard walk around with that beautiful girl, okay?
Can you talk a little bit about the right adopting the politics or the political style of the left?
We don't have the camaraderie, we don't have the trust level that our rivals do. And that camaraderie and trust is built up through activism, and that is one of the tactics that we're adopting.
Is that amazing? Now, this man is defending Klansmen and neo-Nazis and white supremacists, and we've given a little evidence of a neo-Nazi. He hates Jews, he hates blacks, and he hates the fact that Donald Trump gave his daughter to a Jew. Now, why would this nut, or this New Yorker, Donald Trump, put up with stuff like that? I can't understand it. How could he possibly defend these people the way he has?
Well, the guy, the white supremacist, wasn't saying that, you know, that's a flaw in Trump. In other words, we want someone like Trump, but not exactly like Trump, because Trump has some weaknesses. That's kind of like what he was saying.
Yeah.
And so he allowed his daughter to go, you know, to marry a Jew. So we need somebody that's more radical than Trump.
But why would Trump defend that?
Well,
I mean,
Trump,
that's even more reason for him to call him out. Since he talks about the parents of his grandkids. Everybody loves their grandkids. And they're being raised as Jews.
Well,
in the Jewish faith.
If Trump went against that type of thinking?
We've got a call in. Graham's at a rally for Kaepernick. Co-host. Graham, you on the Skype? Can we Skype you in? All right. Come on, Graham. Can we get it?
Doing nothing. So if we ain't screaming no justice, no peace, and we get no justice and they get peace, that means you was bluffing. So if Kaepernick take a knee on national TV and highlight the injustice that happened to us, and we don't stand with him, that's like why watching what happened to those punk kids and getting back on the back of the bus.
Put them on the screen.
So what's the one thing we all can sure on last? I'm not sure, and you sure what happened to Charlotte today. Trump was values and trying to have us back in the country. So you feel like I feel you understand. Let me see everybody bring up their hand.
It sounded as though Graham was there and a speaker, maybe a poet,
Can
was
you hear
speaking
Corey?
at the same time. And that's a rally against the NFL taking place on 59th Street and Fifth Avenue.
345 Park Avenue.
Oh, so we're like close.
We're real close. Graham's at a rally for Kaepernick, as
Right.
you said.
Artists as well.
We try to get this.
Give them another round of applause. If you would, please. How y'all feel today? I know the NFL was feeling us today. They weren't expecting.
Well, it's no. Well, our technical staff is
Well,
usually.
they try to.
We're new at this. He's trying to Skype through a cell phone, so
Okay.
perhaps that is not as sturdy as.
I want to just make a
as in
comment about,
Kaepernick.
no, well, what we just saw on
Well,
TV,
yeah. Well,
on
the white supremacist.
the white supremacist.
Mm.
Now, I was in the military, and
Oh, you witnessed that all over the place.
well,
didn't you?
it was always like, you know, a
But you were considered half black, so.
no, not they. No, back during the time, they looked at me as black. They didn't have
They didn't have the halves.
right. You were looked by whites, you know, as full black, even if you were mixed or whatever. But it was almost like a keg of gunpowder ready to explode. So that racism thing was always, you know, present, and every now and then you could see it, you know, getting ready to explode. So it was nothing for a Southern white male to if he got drunk, to use the N-word. And even if he didn't get drunk, you know, if he felt he had the advantage over you, he'll let those words fly.
Oh, back in the day, that was a normal thing to say. I had to experience when I was in the Corps, 1960.
Right.
One of my best friends, I helped him with most of the tests, but I stayed in most of the time. I couldn't stand going to town because I'm a New Yorker. I was in Memphis, Tennessee. And I studied for these tests, and I used to get A's on everything, you know. And me and this guy became good friends. He was from Florida. He had KKK carved on his wrist. But we were best of friends. We go out to the ball game, get drunk together. Yeah, you a good nigga.
Right.
I smacked him up and said, oh man, you know what I mean. But this was, and this was my friend. And, but he was amazed that he met a black man that had some kind of smarts. So he had never encountered something like that. So most of your encounters with white people back in the day was they were amazed that you were intelligent and that you were human. And most of them think of you as subhuman.
I mean, I actually, you know, would have deep conversations.
Like this guy said.
Yeah, but I would have deep conversations with, you know, these type of people on the race issue.
Okay.
And they were very frank with me. You know, they basically could respect you, but, you know, stay in your lane. I mean, that's how they want you to act. You know, just kind of like, you know, be among yourselves, stay in your lane, know your place, and we can get along.
Yeah.
This is something I heard Monday evening from a brother whose grandmother told him about the North and South whites. In terms of the South, she told him the whites have a philosophy of you can get close, but not too high.
Right.
In the North is you can go high, but not too close.
Right.
So explain the I'm sort of getting what you're saying. Explain. If
He
you,
had the friend. He had KKK.
Right.
They could get close.
Right.
But if he began to attain a rank of captain,
Right.
lieutenant colonel, and stuff like that, you
he
have
would
some
be envious
problems.
of you.
All right. Well, he would demonstrate it.
Right.
And you can go high. You can go high in terms of title, work title,
In the
etc.,
North?
but not too close. Don't get close.
Well, let's deal with Trump. And Trump,
Your
yeah,
favorite
let's deal
cousin.
with, yeah, I mean, because he's turned the country around.
Yes.
I mean, I was so disappointed when Hillary lost, and I had so many friends that didn't care, such as, man,
How did Trump turn the country around?
Look what he's doing.
What is he doing?
He's showing the country to be as racist as we thought it was, but they're coming out of the closet. They're coming. They don't have any shame in their game.
Right.
This is what I'm amazed at. Before, we knew they were racist. We knew they were white supremacists, but we had a black man showing them how to do it properly. And this man, Trump, was jealous. He couldn't stand the fact that a black man was in the White House and 10 times as smart as he was. So he started his whole, reason why I want to pick Trump, because he started this whole birtherism in 2011. He started the whole thing, and he made a comment that these dumb Republicans, which he was financing.
But you know, it shows that Trump is how ignorant Trump is. You know why? Because if he really knew the law, Obama could have been born overseas somewhere, but because his mother was an American citizen, he has citizenship.
I always thought he thought Hawaii wasn't America.
No, but,
I mean,
you know, if Obama was born...
A lot of white nationalists, I bet, think Hawaii is not.
If he was born in Indonesia... No, I'm just saying if he was.
He was born in Hawaii.
But
we all know
even
that.
if he was born in Indonesia, he was still an American citizen
But the
because
point is, he
of his
started
mother.
his political career on a lie.
Right.
And
We're talking
the
about...
country took it up and ran with it because they wanted some reason to dislike this black man. Trump made him a Muslim and not born in this country.
But I was surprised that no one used that as like a challenge, you know, to what Trump was saying.
They did.
No, I haven't.
Hillary didn't.
No one said anything about Barack's parent being an American citizen would make him also American. No one said that.
Someone should have.
They should have.
That should have been the main thing.
So it seems like these people were sort of like in cahoots.
Well, what difference would it
exactly
make?
what I'm saying.
Well, look, Harry Reid, he told the other Democrats, and he told at the last, before the guy was nominated or something like that, he said, look, he's different. He's different. Harry Reid, he's different. He's a different kind of guy. He was saying, this is not an American Negro. It's all right to have this guy in.
Because he was half
Go
white.
back. So, but that's their sickness.
But look how we treated him.
No.
Black people.
I'm going back to Trump getting these people to come out the closet. They were in the closet, but the closet didn't have no door, had a curtain.
Right.
Yeah.
So at any point in time, they would push the curtain back.
Right.
Now, case in point.
Aren't you even slightly surprised at how racist America is?
No. Not when you've traveled.
I mean,
when
did you think it was this bad?
Yes.
These Nazis?
Yes, because I've had discussions like that with in the military.
There's a movie, Betrayed, Tom Berenger, made years ago. And it's got one scene in there with a black guy in there. The movie is worth seeing. If you see the movie and you look at that one scene with the black guy in there, you say, well, where did the writer get this from? Where'd that come from?
The truth?
You have to see it, because I'm looking at it, I said, oh, man. And the guy happens to be a college guy, and he's caught up in something. It's just one scene. The movie Betrayed. It's the story of an FBI agent, female, infiltrating a white militia group in South Dakota, the Southwest, wherever it is. But it's a very good teaching film for us, because it shows that us that there's a continuation here. We have not been locked into American history. We've seen pieces of it, but we've not been locked into American history and studied it. I bet you this, the Chinese have studied American history. I bet you the Russians have studied American history, but we don't even know American history in terms of what has gone on. Now, we don't even know our history or believe that we are the people who we are. We don't even believe that. So that's another story, but it's a very important story. But the thing about Trump is my pointing out why are we concerned about Trump is the same, we had the same kind of response to Ed Koch. We had the same kind of response to Giuliani. They're gone, but the situation that we're dealing with is still there, except that we haven't prepared ourselves for it. And we haven't prepared ourselves, we acting naive as it relates to what we're dealing with.
For Trump? How do you prepare? How do we? All right, let's play this last piece. I want you to watch this Christopher Cartwell again. Let's play the second white supremacist piece. Now watch this guy with his guns, man. This guy is off the hook. Here's a real psycho.
Nazis go home! Nazis go home! Nazis go home!
All right, so I came pretty well prepared for this thing today. Keltec P3AT, 380 ACP, Glock 19, 9mm, Ruger LC9, also 9mm, and oh, and there's a knife. Well, I actually have another AK in that bag over there. You lose track of your fucking guns, huh? I'd say it was worth it. We knew that we were going to meet a lot of resistance. The fact that nobody on our side died, I'd go ahead and call that points for us. The fact that none of our people killed anybody unjustly, I think, is a plus for us. And I think that we showed our rivals that we won't be cowed.
But the car that struck a protester, that's unprovoked.
That's not true, and you know that it's not true. You've seen the video. So
I've seen a video. I don't know much about it.
I understand
Can
that
you describe what the video appears to show?
Okay, so the video appears to show someone striking that vehicle when these animals attacked him again, and he saw no way to get away from them except to hit the gas. And sadly, because our rivals are a bunch of stupid animals who don't pay attention, they couldn't just get out of the way of his car, and some people got hurt, and that's unfortunate.
So you think it was justified?
I think it was more than justified. I can't believe the amount of restraint that our people showed out there, I think was astounding.
What do you think this means for the next alt-right protest?
I say it's going to be really tough to top, but we're up to the challenge.
Wait, why?
Why?
Tough to top? I mean, someone died.
I think that a lot more people are going to die before we're done here, frankly.
Why?
Why? Because people die every day, right? I mean,
But not like of a heart attack, I mean violent death.
Well, people die violent deaths all the time, right? Like, this is part of the reason that we want an ethno state, right? So, like, the blacks are killing each other in staggering numbers from coast to coast. We don't really want to have a part of that anymore. And so, the fact that they resist us when we say, hey, we want a homeland, is not shocking to me, all right? These people want violence, and the right is just meeting market demand.
You know that march that had that Friday night was a German march in the 30s with the lit. I forgot what it's called. Gilter.
I know what you're referring to.
Something of broken glass in German.
Oh, the night of broken glass.
The night of broken Kristallnacht. So that whole march was the Nazis of the 30s, and you've got this nut leading it. I mean, this man is psychotic.
Listen to this.
Before the 30s, what I saw in that march was a lynch mob.
Yeah.
in the 20s,
Yeah.
in the teens in America.
Right.
So it's not even, it's where the Germans, the Nazis got their ideas from, where they
The
got
Klansmen.
their concentration camp from, et cetera, et cetera. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
but-
If a black man had all of these weapons
oh,
being
man.
shown on TV, you know, he would have been arrested. So the fact
right.
this is even tolerated.
Right, right.
No, they've got a warrant out for his arrest.
They do now?
Yeah, and
For-
I've got another video where he cries about it. He's a real punk. I got him crying and oh, they're after me. No. I'll play that next
Yeah,
week.
play that.
Because he's a real B. He's a old pussy. You know.
So what are the
He's
charges?
crying.
What are they trying to arrest
I
him for?
didn't-
Not the weapons. Maybe inciting a riot or something?
I didn't get the list, but I know he's upset about
I
it.
heard it. I heard about the crying, and what that says
He's a punk.
to me is that he was paid to do a certain thing, but not go to jail.
You think
Say,
he's?
wait a minute,
you
hold
think
it,
he's
wait a
pra-
minute.
You think he's being paid
That's a possibility. All right.
by Trump? The Russians? What? The Russians lost a lot of people in the
You,
war.
Trump, and the Russians, man. the Russians quietly buying up basketball teams, stadiums, baseball teams,
Yeah.
and we're concerned about some alleged hacking, and we're concerned about it when all the while our emails, our phone calls are tracked. You think, oh yeah, that Winston. What do you have on him today?
I'm an open book.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
I don't care.
But look,
Hope you hear me.
underlying all this stuff,
Hope they can hear me.
underlying all this stuff is that the jobs are less, and the Caucasian guys see us as being the reason they don't have no jobs.
Right.
When it's really automation and globalization. It ain't, when you hear this guy talk, it's not even in our ballpark. He's talking about something that relates to his own people, structuring a society where jobs have moved out and where they're bringing in high-tech people from other countries to take high-tech jobs in this country, even if you have the high-tech experience. And these are things that they need to be looking at. I'm talking about the guys with the guns and stuff. They need to be looking at. But in the meantime, what are we going to do?
What are we going to do
do?
after, David Duke is happy with all this?
What are we
David
gonna
Duke
do
said,
now?
hang in there, guy. As long as you don't denounce us, we're on your side. I mean, how can he get away with this? How can he get away with this?
We have to talk about what
I think
black
he's going to be
folks-
out of office before the end of the year.
Okay,
they gotta
he's out of
boot him
office,
out.
and
then we got to deal with Pence, which he's a sneaky cracker.
But
I mean,
he's out of office, and the
What
stuff is
happens
going to
to
go
us?
away. Those
Well, what
guys
do we
still
do?
going to have. They're not going to have jobs. They're
So
not
what do
going to
you think's
have
gonna happen?
jobs,
They'll-
and their women are having
they'll
jobs.
blame
So they really
Trump?
got some. They
Well,
got
I
a
think
problem.
Trump is going to ruin the nation.
He's already has.
No, but to such a degree, I don't think he's going to go out quietly.
You think there's going to be a fight?
No. I think Trump
mean-
is going to do some devastating things to really bring havoc to this country and the world, rather
What
than.
is he doing now? He's backing Nazis.
Well,
I mean,
starting
how
unnecessary
abusive is
wars
that?
on such a
Well,
level that
Like the
could be
Korean War?
catastrophic.
I think they're gonna. They've got to tie him down.
Well-
This man is crazy.
Yes.
One night he's on script. The next night he's off script. One night he's on script. And the next night he's off script. This has happened in the past week. He's went off script twice. And I taped last night. I couldn't believe this rant. I said, this man is actually stupid.
Which one was that? Afghanistan or what?
No, after Afghanistan was scripted.
The day before.
I'm talking about last night when he went on
Arizona?
Arizona.
Oh, with his folks.
Yeah, with his folks. Oh, he was off script and having a good time. Oh, well, I talked about the Nazis and, oh, yeah, man, we did that too. I mean, like he's talking to his boys. I mean, what a
his base.
street. What a street. And to me, he's Putin's B. that's what I see him as. And you know what I mean by B? He's Putin's lackey.
I predicted that last year, around the summer, I predicted Trump would win.
You did?
Yes. And I said it so matter-of-factly.
How'd you see that?
How did I see it?
You hated Hillary too?
No. I was looking at the actual facts, okay? In America, you're going to have so many states that will vote red, no matter what. I don't care what the circumstances.
So how does it feel to be right about something like that?
I'm usually right about a lot of things.
Uh-oh.
You know, so in any event, I had an explanation
I would take
for
no
it.
pride in being right
Well,
about that.
in this case, no.
I wouldn't even repeat that. I mean, man.
But it's based on factual things that I knew the black votership would not be would be reduced past
so it's our fault,
the average number. Well, it's not our fault. So you can't blame the victim. If black people in America aren't getting justice, and then all of a sudden they decide not to vote,
they don't
because
care
they're out of despair.
But
you can't say it's your fault.
But how much worse?
Blame those judges and people who are the guardians of the law.
I blame
them for not.
I blame the people that didn't vote.
No,
That's
you
who I
can't.
blame. Yes, I do.
You got to blame the people who refuse to give
happens with black
justice
people
to black
all
folks.
over the place. We wouldn't have had.
Well, the states that didn't vote, you know, the numbers are very marginal. You know, the states that he won that could have gone to Hillary, he only won those states by 10,000 votes, 20, 30, 40, 50.
That's what I mean.
Right?
Yeah.
And had those black voters in those cities turned out a little bit more than what they did,
it would have changed.
It would have been a different story. But Hillary didn't address their problems. They're going through some serious.
No, I think the real problem with Hillary is that a lot of people blame her for what her husband did. That
In
was
this
her
case,
sin.
no.
That was her sin. I mean, I know plenty of people, some of my best friends, you know, people I associate with.
Gil, do you know?
like Baylor over here,
Do you know the
and Graham over there.
Do you know the
They're also
gentrification
anti-Hillary.
schemes that are
Hillary.
going on in cities like Philadelphia, Madison, Detroit, Cleveland, Cincinnati, Charlotte? Worse than here. Blatant. And because of that, you know, if the best answer that you can give to these people is, well, you know, okay, so the Democrats will screw you. But just imagine if the Republicans get in office. If Trump gets in office, what do you think is going to happen to you? So if that's your best answer, and I'm being like pushed out to no man's land, you think I'm going to even be concerned about voting?
Well, the proof is in the pudding, right?
So the proof is...
what we got now.
Well, the proof is...
But what do we have now?
Right.
A psychotic
I think
nut.
Trump is going to devastate the country sooner than what Hillary would have done.
He already had.
We were still coming to that point.
Any progress that Obama achieved over those 8 years, Sessions has gone into the the Attorney General's position and wiped them all out. All those progress we made with police corruption, it's all wiped out. Anything that Obama's accomplished, look how they attacked health care, the best thing America had ever seen.
But would you say that's so with our current police department?
It's not as bad as it was.
What, you talking about the
No, I'm
police
saying like,
department in New York?
In New York?
like Trump's, you know.
No, it's not going to change New York to that extent. I think
When you talk about the police in New York, you're talking
That's a
about
different
a group of individuals who come from outside of New York, Nassau, Suffolk County,
And
even
most of
New
them are Trump
Jersey,
supporters,
Rockland,
too.
and they coming from the same, but they were there anyway.
Yeah.
When you're dealing with a guy that chokes a man to death in broad daylight, and the Justice Department can't make a move on this guy, and in fact, the district attorney...
Well, we had a black
Is this Eric
president.
Garner's situation?
Yeah.
Yeah, the district
And we
attorney...
had an attorney general that was black.
But you know what killed him, actually? If you really look, you know, it wasn't the grabbing around the neck. that killed him. It's when he was on the ground and he pushed his neck, he pushed his head, you know, and cut off his airway.
What was criminal is that he was screaming, "I can't breathe, I
Right.
can't breathe, I can't breathe." And all he was accused of is selling Lucy cigarettes.
And they let
There's a crime.
the bodegas. You got to know they're selling
crime.
Lucy's.
And the man wasn't
Look,
doing anything criminal.
You guys, look, the guy was
Dead.
killed.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's
That man
the
was
point.
killed.
He was killed.
Never mind.
He
how
was killed
on
on video. The only one that's in jail is the man that shot the video.
That's right.
You understand?
That's right.
The only man that's in jail. And the point I'm making is that Staten Island is Mississippi.
That's right.
Staten
Always has
Island,
been.
the district
Always
attorney,
has been.
the district attorney did not bring the kind of evidence that would have them indict this guy for murder. All right?
He went
That's
on
in New
further
York
to
City.
become
When you
congressman.
talk about the New York City police force, you're still talking about a police force. When they have the graduation, they say, oh, you know, we increased in minorities and whatnot. The minorities are not black people born in America. The minorities are coming from South America, Central America, and other points. And they are so arrogant because, some of them are so arrogant because where they come from, the status of police is a whole different thing, man. It's a whole different thing. They come with an attitude.
Gangsters.
They are doing some very bad things to black people in New York City. And the fact is, when we talk about white supremacy, when we talk about these guys, that's a loud cough, an uncovered cough, a sneeze on a train, and people are trying to be healthy. This guy is sneezing on the train, and people saying, whoa, wait a minute. You understand? Either you're going to get in another car, or you're going to remove him from the train. My point is that black people have to take notice, man. Black people walking around here, this Saturday, you're going to find a whole bunch of black folks buying 4 or 5, 20 pairs of sneakers to go in one room that they got in their small apartment. It's business as usual. We're not reading. America, when you go into Google, you put in what is the ranking of America in education, and America is not number one. America is not number one. It's 14 or 30, depending on the poll you look at. It's way down. America is not number one. And the thing is, if America is not educating these white boys who we see, who are thinking that black people are getting their jobs and getting their position in life, and it's not true, if they're not being educated, if they have a 6th grade education, and they used to have jobs that were given to them because they're white. Now they have to compete for jobs that are high-tech and that other folks are coming in from Singapore, Hong Kong, et cetera. That's the education level, India, and getting. If they're not getting educated, then what does that mean in terms of black people? We have to wake up, begin to educate our children, and not go for these phony graduations in June, where little children are graduating from the 4th grade to the 5th grade, and parents are going out and buying costumes and stuff for them, and you look, and we're at the end of the high school, the children don't know how to read and write. And black women are getting tattoos, getting fake hair, and not buying a book for their children. You understand? We're in a real bad situation. What is the remedy? We have to start. I don't have all the remedies. But we need to begin to look at what we're going to have to do to survive this thing. Trump goes out of office. They got a guy named Pence. They say Pence is worse than Trump in terms of his ideology. Trump is just inarticulate. He's not literate compared to these other guys. That's the embarrassment that America has with Trump. Here's a guy, the country bumpkin, who has the nerve to get up and say, we're going to bomb this country and that country. The generals ain't gonna let him do that.
Right.
Well, I heard one general say that if Trump gave him the order, he would nuke China in a minute.
And the fact is,
one of the generals.
That's one of the generals. The other generals
in his cabinet.
Well, we've had throughout history a dividing military many times. So anything is possible. I want to make a comment, though, about education. And
I might remind the people that you're running for city council.
Yes, I am.
We didn't mention that, and we only have a few minutes left.
Okay.
Julius is running for city council
City
on
council?
September 12th.
Right, in the Democratic primary,
All right. How many people in the primary?
6.
Okay.
So,
Well, you've learned something about Julius anyway, right?
yes.
Now, how are you gonna get rid of racism in America?
Well, that's a tough one for a councilman. What are you going to do
get
in
rid
your
of it?
position that has not been done by the folks who did hold that position or who are competing for
Good
that position?
question.
Okay, one of the things I'm already spearheading this movement is to try to stop the mayor's plan to privatize public housing.
Ooh,
So
is that the mayor's plan?
this is on the
Not
mayor.
the real estate board,
Well, he could be.
but he assigns people to real
I mean, he
estate
could be
board.
in the pockets of some real estate people.
You
Because
think
this,
so?
it's kind of looking this way. The justification is that in order to preserve most of the housing stock, that so much of it is going to have to be privatized.
You take it out of the hands of nature.
Right. He's saying that they're not going to sell the property, but they are going to give long-term leases to these private entities. So right now, if you read the plan, most of it is talking about taking underutilized land or taking parking lots that are underutilized and building on them. It's like building the infill. But if you really read the plan carefully, there's nothing to prevent it from taking buildings. So
Okay.
I spearheaded a counter proposal. It's called NYCHA's Legacy for the Future. The mayor's plan is called NYCHA's Next Generation.
Okay.
So I think that you don't have to privatize any of it, and that we can solve the economic woes of NYCHA, the $17 billion restoration bill, and the quality of life. So the mayor has this plan. The clock is ticking. We want him to consider this plan and do a moratorium on his next generation. So I'm the only candidate that's really talking about that, and the only candidate that's actually putting something, forward on that issue. Another thing.
We've got 30 seconds
30
left.
seconds.
And I'll
East Harlem rezoning.
I need 20 of those seconds.
The East Harlem rezoning, that has to be out. We're talking.
Thank you for coming, gentlemen.
Yes.
It's been
Thank you, sir.
an interesting program today. I don't know what to say. Peace go with you. Be aware of the demons in your midst. They're all over the place.
And check out Minister Farrakhan on NOI.org.
The God in me, love the God in you, and stay tuned for more of the Gilchirst Experience. Maybe we'll have Julius back next week. God bless.
What I wanted to say, though, about the education thing is that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad had a third grade education. Malcolm X had